Hey KidZone team, I had a couple things I wanted to go over with you guys today in preparation for our training that's coming up this Sunday at 1:30. Just a quick reminder, don't forget to be there 1:30 in the gym for pizza, and we're going to go over some important vision and training for KidZone, and then we have a party at Pastor Joe's house leaving the gym about 3:30 p.m. If you haven't already, make sure you RSVP to your service coordinator so they know that you are going to be there. Okay, wanted to give you guys some things that I've observed in KidZone the last couple of weeks and some things that we can just sharpen up on as we move into the fall. And so if you guys remember, those of you that have been to our trainings before, we have 4 main priorities in KidZone, and they are safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency. And I want to talk today about number 1, which is safety. You guys have probably heard that before, safety first, right? And the reason safety is our number 1 thing, it's not the presentation, it's not even being kind all the time, even though those things are very important, but the number 1 thing is safety. And that's because we really want to build trust with not only our kids, but our parents, okay? And so if a family is bringing a child into our environment, we need to earn their trust, and they need to know that their kids are safe and having a good time. And so you guys as leaders, one of the most important things you can do is provide a safe experience for your kids when they're in KidZone, okay? Now, I want to speak to specifically when I've seen some of this happening during our worship time or during our large group time. So sometimes I've noticed there are some kids that have a lot of energy, or they're younger and they may not know what to do yet in KidZone, and so they can tend to go off on their own. Sometimes they may be, going to the coloring table when we're doing worship and they're doing their own thing over there, or maybe they start running around the room, or maybe they are just a lot of energy and they're kind of creating their own little world. I want to talk about how you guys as leaders can take control of that situation and create safety. And so we always want those kids to feel safe and to be safe. And so if one kid is running around doing their own thing, that can distract what's happening at the front of the room, or it can also distract that child, or that child may even run all the way out into the parking lot, which we definitely don't want to happen, okay? And so you guys as leaders need to see these things and make and act on them, okay? And so with safety first, there are 4 things that I want to talk about, and they spell out the word safe. Super cool, right? So SAFE, and each one of those is an acronym, and it's going to be a step for you to remember. Okay, so S is see what's going on. So number 1, all of you guys, if you are serving in KidZone, you are the eyes on the ground at all times. That's why we have such a big team. We have so many kids in KidZone, and you may notice something that your service coordinator or I may not see, and that's important that you realize that's a responsibility you have. You need to see what's going on around you. That is why we space you guys out during worship, during the large group time. That's why each one of you has a small group that you're working with specifically, so that you're getting to know those kids, so that you can see when something happens specific in your group. So if you notice one particular child who is not following the rules, or who is doing their own thing, or may need some extra attention, don't look for someone else to fix that. That is your responsibility to first see it. That's the S. And then the second one, A, is to act with authority, okay? Now, sometimes you guys can come in and feel like, oh, I'm not really sure what to do. This kid is running around, or this kid won't listen to me. Please sit down. Please, remember we have to stay in our seats. If you speak that way and you don't speak with an authority, that child is not going to respond to you, okay? So I want you guys to realize you have the authority. You are a leader in KidZone to tell a child to follow the rules, and you don't have to be mean and burly about this, but you can be firm and kind at the same time. And so instead, if you're saying, if a child is running around, Johnny, that's not what we're going to do right now. We need to sit in our seats. And you tell them calmly, this is what I want you to do. Sit down, and they will listen to you, okay? This might be a step for some of you. Maybe you've never controlled a group of kids or controlled one kid before, but you can do that with kindness, but you have to know your authority as a leader. So first, see what's going on. Second, you want to act with authority. So that may be that redirecting to the rules, making sure that child sits down. Maybe it's comforting them. Maybe there's a child that is crying. Don't go off and find somebody else, but act with authority and step in and say, oh, what's going on? Can I help? Maybe they need a Band-Aid. Maybe they need something like that, which will lead us to the F, which is find good resources. So there are several things that you can do in KidZone if a child needs something or something's going on. So if a child comes to you and says, it's too loud, like this is really hurting my brain with music or whatever's going on, on, you can automatically go and get headphones in the back. If you don't know where they are, talk to your service coordinator about where to find them. So that's one resource we have. Another one is a Band-Aid or an ice pack. So if a child gets hurt in some way, those are two small things that we can provide for them, a Band-Aid or an ice pack. If you don't know what to do beyond that, if you can't provide, sometimes a child might just need information too. Maybe they're like, hey, can I get a drink of water? Can I go to the bathroom? I love those kids. But if there's a kid that comes up to you, yes, let me show you where it is. Okay, so be thinking as leaders how you can help them find the resource that they need, okay? Now, if you don't know what they need, or if that child needs something beyond what you know how to help them with, that takes us to letter E, which is enlist an expert. Okay, so we have experts in every service, which are your service coordinators, your operations leader, and our 1115, we have a special needs leader. Okay, so if you have a specific situation with a child and you're not sure what to do, maybe you have told them several times to sit down and they're not listening to you and they're saying, no, I'm not going to sit down. I refuse to listen to you. You're not my boss. If a child acts that way, you would probably need to get an expert or an older person to step in and help you. That is not a bad thing. That's a very good thing. But that is after you've done everything else. So you're first seeing the situation, you're acting with authority and stepping into the situation to talk to the child. Then you are finding the resources the child needs. And then if you still can't solve the problem, you are finding the help of someone else in the room, either a service coordinator, an operations leader, or, as I said, special needs leader in the 1115. If you don't know who those people are, make sure you find that out this weekend. That's really important. And during our training, you'll have time to connect with all of your service teams and make sure you know who your service coordinators are, who your operations leaders are, and how they can help. They have incredible resources and knowledge, and they can help you even learn how to communicate better with kids. If you notice there's several things going out of control and you want to learn how to do that, talk to them about how to do that better. So those are some things that I noticed that I wanted to share with you guys. Not every kid, I want to mention this too, not every kid needs a lot of one-on-one attention or a cluster. I know we had something like this happen a couple weeks ago where one kid had 4 or 5 leaders that was giving him one-on-one attention. That's not always what that child needs. Sometimes that child really needs a firm redirection that this is what we expect of you in Kids Zone. You need to sit down and follow the rules and those kinds of things. But those are things, again, get an expert or a small group coach or service coordinator to help you with. But that's some information I wanted to give you guys. And so remember the training 1:30 on Sunday. And another thing is our pre-K class is opening up this weekend. So some of you will be acting as hosts to help walk new families and our pre-K kids into the classroom at the back of the gym. So we'll talk to you about that when you get into Kids Zone this weekend. But just some information to be thinking about as we start things off, how to keep kids safe. Safety first. One more time, see what's going on, act with authority. Don't wait for someone else to do it. Jump in and do it yourself. Talk to the child, find out what they need, solve the problem. Find the good resources that they need, whether that's a Band-Aid or maybe that's a hug or a pair of headphones, or enlist an expert. So getting someone to help you solve that problem if you're not sure what to do. So just some things to think about. I will see you guys this weekend.